BassEdge Radio. You're listening to The Edge, everything bass fishing, coming to you worldwide from Megaware KeelGuard Studios.
Aaron, BassEdge Radio, set to kick off another fantastic episode. Last episode, dude, jam-packed with information. I think we're packing just as much, maybe even more punch in this episode. So, man, I'm excited. The listeners have a lot of bass fishing ahead of them coming up.
No doubt. And as always, BassEdge Radio is presented by Megaware KeelGuard. First do-it-yourself keel protector, the battery guard, the flex step, the skate guard, all things Megaware need to be on your watercraft, and certainly can check all of that out at KeelGuard.com. Kurt, speaking of KeelGuard and Megaware, you might have a future in modeling. You know, I saw the BassEdge swag, and certainly that ranks right up there. I'm not sure with what, but it does rank up there. So good job, man.
So if anybody has not checked out my modeling career, the BassEdge apparel, co-branded, of course, with Megaware. Check it out at the social media handles. We had a giveaway, and we are available now all over the website. So go to BassEdge.com, check out the apparel, show your brethren and your sisters, if you're a lady out there, what we are doing out here at BassEdge Radio, bringing you the best podcast of bass fishing education available on the media stream, at least in my humble opinion. How about yours, Aaron?
Oh, absolutely. I would hope so. Otherwise, we've done this 349 times too many. So
That's right.
Just saying, just.
That's right.
But
well, dude, we got you locked down. BFL back-to-back, Table Rock. What's the strategy?
Yes, sir. Strategy is to catch 10 bigger than anybody else, and hopefully I can continue to do that. Going back to Kyle Cortiana's interview last week, talking about the different phases of the spawn and the north, in kind of going first. I'm adopting a little bit of that. I've been bouncing around, checking out those different areas. I prefer, much like what he said last week or 2 weeks ago, was that, I like pre-spawn. I'm not a proficient bed fisherman. I can do it. I like to do it, but generally that means I'm going to get my butt kicked by somebody else. So I've been throwing a jerk bait, looking for kind of staging suspended fish. Also a swim bait is a major player right now for me. Awesome. So that's the ticket for me, Kurt. And I understand you're getting ready to get some miles behind you.
I am, man. Well, first, I've been spending a lot of time out here at Lake Amistad. We've got fishing all stages. Like you mentioned, we got some post-spawn fish. We still have some pre-spawn fish, even in late April. We've got that pre-spawn thing still happening. I think the whole February crazy cold that went down,
right,
had just pushed everything back a little bit. And we've got all phases going on down here at Lake Amistad. But you're exactly right. Ready to hit the road, headed over to South Carolina and Lake Murray in just a week or so, end of April, with the third stop of the MLF Big 5 Pro Circuit event. Excited about that. We got a great guest today, by the way. We've got the AOY leader. He's going to be in our Lucas Oil Angler Spotlight today. So excited to talk to Cole. And another special guest, Aaron.
We've got a special guest.
Yeah, dude, this might be, maybe try something new going into several episodes here. We'll see how it works out. But we've got a special guest coming up in the next segment, Rick Emmitt with Drury University. Bass fishing coach, used to be in the marketing department over there with White River. Huge history in the lures of bass fishing industry. So it's going to be fun to get Rick on the line, talk to him. But man, you got anything else, or we're going to move into the next segment? What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I think it's protecttheharvest.com time, don't you?
It is. Y'all stay tuned for this next tip. Always love these little fishing tips brought to us by protecttheharvest.com. Then we're going to fire right in with Mr. Rick Emmitt. Y'all stay tuned. It's going to be another great show. This episode's ProtectTheHarvest.com tackle tip with MLF Pro Circuit Angler Kyle Gellis.
Hey guys, every year Dry Creek Outfitters hold what we call the Dry Creek Open back home, and it's just a crazy party where the river is broken up into sections. We're all rotating on a time schedule in different zones, and really it's there to remember our veterans, and it's just one of the coolest events that I've been a part of in my years fishing, coming up into the pro circuit. And one tackle tip I'd have for you, anytime you're facing those type of conditions or springtime smallmouth fishing, is stroking a tube. And one little sneaky trick I've learned from some old school guys is taking an earplug and thread it onto your hook and up into the inside of your tube. And that will help the tail end of your tube float up so it doesn't hang as much in your shell bed. And it also gives you that profile that the smallmouth just can't resist, and they'll crush it every time.
Great tip, Kyle. Brought to you by ProtectTheHarvest.com.
First by land and now by sea. For years, Lucas Oil has been a staple in high-performance vehicles on both the road and track. Now, from the makers of Lucas Oil comes Lucas Marine products, specifically engineered for marine applications. Protect and lubricate your marine inboard, outboard, or high-performance boat with Lucas Marine Engine Oil or Lucas Synthetic-Based Oil. Learn more about the complete line of Lucas Oil and marine products. Visit lucasoil.com.
Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Get pro-level performance with the Nitro Z18, the official boat of Major League Fishing. The Z18, with its nimble handling and versatility, sports many of the features in the larger boats in the line, like a Guardian Live Well, a heavily insulated cooler, dual 8-foot rod storage, and our smooth and fast NVT hull. Every Nitro boat is laid out to do one thing very well: catch fish. Enormous front decks, up to 45 square feet on the Z21, allow maximum mobility when battling unruly bass, and feature low-profile gunnels for ease of skipping, pitching, flipping, or landing fish. Nitro Performance Bass Boats, pure fishing machines.
Mentioned, we've got an exciting segment B, special guest, new bass fishing head coach at Drury University, Rick Emmitt is in the house. Rick, man, I appreciate you taking the time to be with us today. Looking forward to this chat.
Hey, absolutely, guys. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, well, Rick, certainly for the BassEdge listeners, give a little bit of history, but you and I's history goes way back, and certainly your history as an angler in the industry has a lot of history there as well. Recently, congratulations, by the way, the latter part of February, inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. So congratulations on that. But, for most people, they know you as an angler, but they also remember you as more or less building just the pro staff powerhouse at Nitro Boats, White River Marine Group. You had some a lot of responsibilities there, but there is a new chapter, and certainly appreciate you carving out time like Kurt had said. But your first 30 days on the job at your alma mater university team wins the Abu Garcia National Championship. I'm guessing there's nothing like setting the bar high.
Well, yeah, I told our athletic director when I started over here full-time that, my goal was to win a national championship, and I thought it would come sooner than later. And actually, and thanks again for the Hall of Fame mention. In my Hall of Fame speech, I mentioned that was my goal and thought it would come sooner than later. And then, a few weeks later, we win one. So it was pretty exciting. And even though, I'm full-time over here now at Drury, I did coach part-time the last 5 years and kind of helped build our program, up over the years to where we're a pretty strong program. But it was pretty exciting. I looked like I had a crystal ball or something when I made that comment. But
well, Rick, as you mentioned, now full time there at Drury University, transitioning from essentially what I believe is a marketing career, through the White River Marine Group. What was your viewpoint of college fishing before, as you were in that role with White River, and has it changed now that you're kind of more front and center, full time into this college fishing as a coach?
Well, we were always very involved with youth fishing, over at White River and in Bass Pro Shop, and we developed some incentive programs for anglers and discount programs and such. So we knew the importance of reaching out to the young anglers and developing that relationship, early on, because obviously, those are your future customers. And, coming over and coaching, I'm on the other side where I'm actually, trying to recruit sponsorships for the team, and instead of being on the other side of it. So I kind of see, what our anglers went through and holding out my hand now. So
That is something that you don't have a whole lot of people, I feel like, in the industry that see both sides of that. I've had a little bit of that myself, being an angler and now general manager with Hayabusa Fishing Hooks, and kind of seeing that cross reference. What is it you see as the biggest challenge now as a coach and approaching companies to give them a viable marketing plan that actually brings value to a corporation?
Yeah, the challenge is, I think for most companies, especially within the industry, is they feel like if they sponsor one program, then a lot of the other programs are going to reach out to them. So they feel like, hey, we sponsor one, we're going to have to sponsor everybody. So that's why most companies do have a discount program for college as well as high school anglers. And that's the challenge, is to get them to see the value of your school. And I'm bringing in the level of anglers that are going to either be in the fishing industry, that is their goal, or go on and fish at the next level. And so I try to stress that point to companies that, yeah, I understand the challenge, but this is also a great time to get involved with an angler, early on. And if he does have success, then, you've kind of locked him in, for lack of better words, to be loyal to your brand, from early on. So, that's what I think companies need to look at, is not necessarily, offering free product and money to all schools that are asked, but keep the opportunities open. If you are going to have anglers that move on to the next level, it's a great time to get involved with them early on.
Well, and I would think, Rick, certainly the three of us that's on here right now, all of us in our youth were fortunate enough to be introduced to fishing. All of us joke that if we would have had fishing in college, we would have probably never gotten out of college. But with all joking aside, Kurt and I, you're on episode 350, and over the course of those episodes, as college fishing, high school fishing has come about, we're really just now starting to see a lot of the benefits by individuals and youth being involved in collegiate fishing. And like you speak of, whether they're going on to be in the fishing industry, communication, right? All of the just life skills that's taught. College athletes have a lot to deal with when they're going through school. Likewise, if they go on to the next level, it's pretty impressive of some of the anglers that we've had on here. I guess building your program really from the ground up and now winning a national championship in 5 years, are there important lessons that you're able to explain to these college athletes at Drury that maybe you wish you could have said with more transparency to professional fishermen in your previous job there at Bass Pro, White River, Nitro?
Yeah, definitely. What I teach to these kids is it's very important to promote your sponsors, and I actually encourage them to take marketing classes, if not even marketing majors, and speech classes, and you have to be comfortable representing yourself and your sponsors up on stage and be able to talk to groups of people. If you're not comfortable doing that, then you don't really have a lot of value to your sponsors. Fishing performance is only a very small part, of a sponsorship. Years ago, guys, relied on their fishing performance, and they thought that was enough, and it's not. Fishing performance is just a small part of it. If you don't move the needle for the sponsor, then you're really of no value to them. So as you guys know, social media is a huge part of it anymore. So you have to have those skills, be able to promote socially as well as up on stage, talk in front of an audience, just represent the brand. And these kids are representing our school as well. So I encourage they always be on their best behavior. And, just when you're up on stage talking to the tournament director, if he asks you how, you caught your fish, don't say on a hook. Promote your sponsors and elaborate and, really help promote the school and the brands.
Rick, let's take that to the next step. Your recruiting of anglers. Obviously, universities are seeing the benefits. Let's say a school like Drury. You could take Drury University and all of a sudden set them on the same playing field as the University of Missouri or University of Oklahoma. And now, Drury can become a part of a platform that includes some of these larger schools and universities. They're seeing some of these benefits. They're seeing the marketing benefits through bass fishing. And how do you now go about kind of vetting these athletes, these fishermen, fisherwomen that are looking to come to Drury or maybe, some other school that they're looking to go to? What is it that those collegiate fishermen need to provide you to be, kind of the A-lister or somebody that is able to get maybe some scholarship money and those types of things through these college fishing programs?
Right. Yeah, I look for anglers that have the passion. I kind of monitor the high school circuits, and I've reached out to high school youth directors in each state. So I kind of follow that, almost like, AAU basketball or something. The coaches go to basketball camps, and you can find, the better athletes that way. Same applies for fishing. Also, as we've had success, I've had a lot of anglers reach out to me and approach me. So as you have success, then that, opens up your interest there. But most recently, Bassmaster announced their high school All-State and soon to be All-America. And I looked at that list and I reached out to kids on social media and said, hey, congratulations. If you're interested in fishing in college, I'd love to speak to you about our program. So, there's a lot of opportunities there to reach out to anglers. And like you said, the great thing about college fishing is we're competing against all schools. There's no Division I, Division II, Division III. We're competing against the University of Missouri or the University of North Carolina or whatever. So it doesn't matter the size of the school. There's community colleges that have great bass fishing programs. So the opportunity that this is providing the student angler to get an education and still pursue his passion of fishing is just great. And who would have thought? I would have never thought, 20 years ago, one day I would be a full-time bass fishing coach. I mean, I couldn't have even imagined it,
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
Rick, I'll take it a step further, and Kurt, feel free to jump in on this. I never would have thought, all of us love competition, right, and sports and everything else. I never would have thought that we would have been having a conversation concerning recruiting classes and recruiting for college fishing teams. And, I can see the headlines now, just like basketball recruiting just finished here not too long ago. They're going to have a cutoff for signing the next class of anglers, and letters of intent
Right.
and everything else. So it's pretty fascinating of where this is going and where it's came from.
Yeah, in fact, we have a lot of anglers that do school signings and do sign. We send out a letter of intent, and they have a school signing, just like the football or basketball recruit does. So yeah, it's being recognized as a major sport collegiately, even though it is still a club level sport, which is good. We need to keep it that way. That way, we can still display sponsor logos on our jerseys. Kids can fish tournaments on the weekends on their own, not collegiate tournaments, and win some money that way. Where if it was an NCAA sport, they couldn't do that.
Right. I think this opens up, Aaron, to a lot of different wonderful topics that we could dial in on Rick, especially with his amazing career and all of the things that he has done inside this industry. But quickly, while we get kind of ready to close this little segment of the show down, Rick, I see it from my personal perspective. Yeah, it's great for a school like Drury to go up against the UNC Tar Heels and some of those things that you mentioned and we talked about. But if you could give us a viewpoint from a university's perspective of the benefits of having a college fishing team and the kind of vision of where you see some growth, where we're at now. I mean, how much money is a college scholarship? What's the ability for an angler to get a college scholarship, and how much can they expect to maybe see a return on their fishing excellence, throughout trying to go from a high school to a college level program? I mean, is it big scholarship money? How much does it cost for a university to fledge one of these programs? Those are all kind of unknowns, I think, to most, and maybe you could shed some light on that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. The school has committed to the program to where we are offering scholarships, and it varies depending on the students' GPA, ACT scores, and such. But they're allowing me to offer, say, high school championship winners very lucrative scholarships. Right now, it's the winning team will receive $128,000 in scholarships.
Wow.
Now that's per team, so it's $64,000 per individual over 4 years. So, the scholarships are very lucrative. I don't know of any school that is providing a full ride scholarship, similar to maybe a basketball star would or whatnot, but it's over 50% at times. And I don't like to quote numbers, and our school doesn't like me to quote numbers because there's too many factors that affect it based on GPA, the students' and parents' financial needs and such. But it definitely makes it affordable to attend our school and maybe provide an opportunity that may not be provided otherwise. Drury, as you may know, is usually one of the top 25 private universities ranked in the country academically. So Drury is an excellent academic school, and to get an education at Drury and a private college with smaller class sizes, and you get that personal attention from the professors, a Drury education goes a long, long ways, and people here locally know that. Drury has a great reputation. So bass fishing has opened up the opportunity for a kid that may not have qualified to go to Drury to be able to do that. And, of course, it benefits the university. Obviously, college admissions have went down the last few years, so colleges are looking at ways, to offer programs and, get attendance and such. So it definitely benefits the school because these kids probably wouldn't come to Drury if it wasn't for the fishing program. So, my goal is to grow the program. Right now we have 13 anglers. I want to grow it to 20 to 25 anglers, and that helps the school, with tuition money and such. And we're also one of the few sports in college that gets national TV time. This national championship we won will air nationally in July. We won a tournament last fall on Lake Dardanelle that just recently aired on the Pursuit Channel. So we're a sport that gets national exposure that very few sports, unless like Drury, if they made it to the national championship basketball-wise, which they've done a few times, that's the only time they would ever get national TV time. So for college fishing to get that is just a great opportunity for the school, and the school benefits with that exposure.
Yeah, it's great branding. I've seen some schools, and I don't know where the position is with Drury in this, and love to learn about it real quickly. But like Dallas, I live in Texas, so I see Dallas Baptist has some boats running around, and you see some of the kids like at a big school like Auburn. They've got some boats that I think are helped through the university. How does that process work? I mean, if I'm a youth angler and I love to fish, and I've got a 1985 Nitro with a Merc 150 on it, 18-footer, and coming into college, man, I'm really kind of concerned about where all this technology is going within the fishing industry and being competitive. Do schools help with that process as well, as far as getting the anglers with primo equipment?
Yeah, there's a handful of schools that have the budget to do that. Unfortunately, Drury does not. Some of the programs that have been around maybe since day one, and they may have a tie-in with where their athletic director tournament fishes and understands, the value of providing a boat with the latest equipment. And, like you say, Dallas Baptist, Auburn, some of these schools have wrapped boats, and they're the latest models. And, usually a kid can't afford a $75,000 bass boat going to college, especially. So that is a challenge. Most of the kids that I bring onto the program either own a boat or their folks own a boat, so they can bring one of the latest models with them. I will say I am working on something with a local White River Marine Group dealer to provide boats. He's actually reached out to me, and I think he sees the value of that. So, my goal is to have some late model boats provided that are wrapped with the school and the dealers wrap as well. So, that is my immediate goal, and I hope that happens soon. But it's tough that very few schools have budget to do that. That is a little bit of a challenge, but with my industry experience and contacts, I'm trying to use that to my advantage. So I hope it works out.
Yeah, that's great. It's good to understand some of the challenges from all aspects, from the athlete's perspective to the coach's perspective to working into the marketing programs. Obviously, the segment of the industry is in a tremendous growth process and has been for the last 7 to 10 years probably, and it's getting to continuing to elevate the sport in a great way, man. It's awesome for the sport of bass fishing, no doubt.
Yeah, it definitely is. And it's very important, going back even to junior high school fishing as it's growing and into college, that, we get our youth outdoors and outside, away from playing video games and such, and get them in the outdoors. And to me, that is, it keeps kids out of trouble. Rarely ever do you hear of someone that is a fisherman or an angler that, it keeps them off the streets and keeps them out of trouble. So it's very important for the industry as well as the kids and their families to get them involved in the sport. And we're seeing the benefits of that for sure.
No doubt. And certainly I believe, Rick, and I think all of us would agree, literally changing generations to come and just really the trajectory of the sport. So unfortunately, we're going to shut it down. I would like to keep the invitation open to have you on again. I think, like Kurt had mentioned, there's so many different directions that we could go with this, and just given your experience, certainly appreciate the relationship that BassEdge has had with yourself and then White River Marine Group through Nitro, and now look forward to helping facilitate the growth of not only Drury University, but just college fishing in general. So any closing thoughts before we shut it down, Rick?
Well, I want to say kids that are interested in fishing in college, you can reach out to me. I will say that with the amount of travel that we do, our season is pretty much heavy on the spring, but we have tournaments in the summer and even in the fall. With all the travel and, we're gone sometimes 4 to 5 days with practice, that fishing in college is probably the toughest sport to participate in and still keep up with your schoolwork. And I'm proud of our team. 3/4 of the team made the dean's list last semester and still fished all the tournaments. So if you aspire to fish in college, keep your grades up. That's very important. In fact, when I interview an angler, that's one of the first things I ask is, what is your GPA? And that's actually some of the kids that maybe wouldn't have kept their grades up by wanting to fish in college. That's helped them. So
right.
It's it's just a great thing all around for everybody. So
great, Rick. Thanks for spending the time here. Aaron, we got another great interview coming up with our Lucas Oil Angler Spotlight. We've got a college angler that was a superstar in college and is turning superstar on the MLF Pro Circuit. Cole Floyd going to be with us right after this message. Y'all stay tuned. BassEdge Radio. We'll be right back.
I am Bassmaster Elite Series angler Patrick Walters.
This is MLF Pro Circuit angler Trevor Fitzgerald.
This is BASS Elite Series Pro Brandon Pollinack.
I am MLF Big 5 Pro Circuit angler Gray Buck.
This is 2020 BASS Angler of the Year Clark Winlet. Stay right here for more BassEdge Radio.
You know the importance of protecting your investments, so why use anything else other than the original and toughest DIY keel protector for your boat, Megaware KeelGuard. Grinding sand, abrasive rocks, and concrete ramps are no match for our exclusive contoured edge and patented technology. Megaware KeelGuard keel protectors are made tough and made to stick. Their do-it-yourself installation takes less than an hour, providing the longest-lasting, most dependable keel protection for your boat, guaranteed for life. Developed specifically by boat builders offering the best keel protection in the industry. Also from Megaware KeelGuard, Skeg Guard, Flex Step Pro, and Pontoon Guard. So give your boat the performance edge. Put on the protection the pros pick. Megaware KeelGuard.
Aaron, it seems like we just keep getting the new folks rolling through on the show. No change in this episode either. Man, if listeners look at the top of the AOY standings, they're going to see this name, his second year fishing the MLF Pro Circuit. Look forward to hearing about his angling style and also his journey into bass fishing. BassEdge Radio welcomes MLF Pro Circuit angler Cole Floyd to the podcast. Thanks for being on the show, Cole.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys have me on here.
Well, Cole, again, just to echo what Kurt said, thanks for being with us. But here you are on the hot seat, leading the Angler of the Year race, like Kurt had mentioned, after the second MLF Big 5 Pro Circuit event this year. What's your thought process right now?
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised. Especially going to Florida. I've never been to Okeechobee. It's a big body of water, and I like fishing grass. I like flipping. I like power fishing. So it kind of set up, but I know how that lake can really humble you, and it can tear you up. For the first term of the year. But to get by that one top 10, got the ball rolling. My confidence was up. Going into Smith and had a good event there. So heck, I can't complain the way it's going right now.
No doubt, Cole. At the last event, one of your angling peers and I were discussing who caught him after the first day. Naturally, your name came up. He quickly said, Cole is the best angler in this field. Man, it was a comment that kind of took me back at first, but then after the event, I see you're, first in the AOY standings, 2 top 10s. What has led you to become the angler you are today? A lot of the young guys in the sport know Cole Floyd, have, kind of watched him grow through his college fishing days. Let me just set the stage here. You had 2 tough events when you first started the MLF Pro Circuit last year.
Right.
You came out, I think it was 2 triple-digit finishes. But, dude, you have been on a roll, cashed a $10,000 check at minimum in every event since then. And now, after the first 2 events, again, as Aaron mentioned, you're leading the Angler of the Year standings. Dude, tell me a story. Where are you at? What's going on, Cole Floyd?
Yeah, I always just say, I get lucky every once in a while. Like
that's what Brian Thrift says, too,
I'm just some old redneck that likes to fish. So, I really don't feel like I'm that good. I just come across some things every once in a while. But, you're right. Last year I started off kind of slow, and, I have confidence, going into it last year too. I really don't get too worked up or nervous. After them 2 events, it kind of just freaking put the nail in the tail. It was kind of hurt, I was like, dang it. But, to bounce back and have some good finishes after that, I kind of got me some more confidence going, and coming into this year and having a good event at Hartwell and the All-American, and
right.
just got things kind of back on track, and and that's the thing. I got some of my buddies are like, how in the world are you coming from Ohio? We don't have many lakes, and it's a big deer hunting state. I'm a big deer hunter,
As Billy McDonald says, Cole, you guys take turns catching the 5 fish that live there. I don't know if that's
yeah, it is like that. But I will say we got a couple lakes right here close by. They're like 20 minutes away. They're like 2,000-acre lakes, and I kind of grew up fishing them, really. My dad, he's been fishing his whole life, and, I fish with a lot of guys, and he's by far one of the best, shallow water guys I've ever fished with. He's got it in him, and if he can't touch a bottom with his rod, he's not catching them.
I want to run with that for a second, because it appears, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but that both events this year, flipping was a big key for you. Is that your go-to technique, and what's your springtime flipping strategy?
Yeah, that's the thing. If I'm going into an event, and I just said this the other day to a buddy, I was like, man, if it's a flipping tournament, even if it's not a flip tournament, if I feel like I can go and catch and flip, and I got more confidence doing that than anything. And I don't know what it is. My dad, like I said, he loves to flip. That's just a thing we've always done. And, being around him, he's so good at it and just does it and, understands it all. And I just didn't really take that in, I just kind of thought it was just normal, and now coming to these tournaments, it's like, man, maybe I can flip with the best, and, I'm not saying I'm the best flipper, but, I think being around him has just helped me so much. And, I just understand it. But yeah, you can catch them dang near year round flipping. Look at Smith. You got guys shoot real little wide and spinning rods, finesses that gets about pretty much the whole field. And I was flipping some 25-pound seagull. I kept the big rod in my hand and which I didn't catch them all doing that, but I felt like, you know, a guy could have done pretty good in that event, flipping, which I did, you know, and I kind of mixed it with some cranking. But yeah, I mean, that's probably one of my favorite techniques. I say that, but then again, they'll be eating a frog or something. I just like power fishing. I like fishing shallow, and a lot of guys, you know, they look at me as a deep water, which I feel like I'm pretty strong at that too, just because I've had to learn it myself. You know, I was never really taught anything, you know, living on Kentucky Lake. That's where I learned how to do all that. So it's key to be versatile in this game.
No doubt about it. But it's also key to know your strengths. And when you're not, you know, when things are on the line, you go with what you know. And Dad taught you well, apparently. I heard he's got a little reputation up there in the BFLs and the local tournament scene. Tell me a little bit about your roots and where you come from. Your dad, you know, helping you kind of form, you know, you as a youth angler and now as a, you know, still a very, very young angler in the sport. What was kind of where's his process at in all this?
I mean, he's been fishing his whole life, and you know, I got two brothers, so we've always, going back to the good old days, we always used to make trips down to Kentucky Lake, and I just bring this up because it's just thinking about it. It brings back good memories. We used to go down there, and we'd have 4 of us in the boat. It would be me, my dad, and my 2 brothers, and it was just, there was baits being flown. We'd go there and just flip. We'll go there in springtime in the waters and bushes and flip all day. And the funny thing is, I was the one that was always on the dang tip nose of the boat, like the little rubber piece. I was always up there trying to get the first flip in. But yeah, those good times, you know, starting out like that and just fishing. He got us into, you know, fishing tournaments. We always fished since I can remember. We're little kids fishing. We were fishing tournaments when we were real young, you know, with him, and he just kind of got us in, you know, going with that, and it's kind of just went from there, you know. And he got a house down at Paris for me to stay at, you know, to go to college down there, so that was pretty sweet.
You went to Bethel,
yeah,
is that right?
Right, correct.
Yeah,
yep.
Go to the Bethel group. We had Cody Huff on earlier this year, and
yeah.
You know, he's part of the Bethel.
Yeah, he's a good buddy of mine. He's rooming with me this year.
Okay.
Very cool. That's pretty cool.
All right, so I was doing some search. You brought up Kentucky Lake. We're going to dive a little bit further into Kentucky Lake. Dude, your record on Kentucky Lake is ridiculous. Obviously, you know, fishing Kentucky Lake, you talk about being a shallow water guy, power fisherman, enjoy that.
Right.
We all know Kentucky Lake, especially in the heyday, Tennessee River fishery, ledge fishing is the first thing most people think about. And for Kentucky Lake, we know it's a great flipping lake, you know, catching fish on a frog and the yellow flowers in the spring. Another great fun, you know, I'm sure you have lots of memories on Kentucky Lake with that as well.
Oh yeah.
But the shallow water thing, do you like fishing deep too still, or is it? Tell me how that.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, when I first moved down to Kentucky Lake, I didn't have a clue of anything about ledge fishing. I've always just wanted to do something different. And I was hearing everyone how they caught so many bass out there doing it. And first couple of years, it was just learning. But I put 500 hours on the boat, 500-600 hours on the boat on Kentucky Lake every year. And, I was out there damn near every day. And I learned how to ledge fish on my own. And I feel like that helped me out more than anything. Because I kind of just created my own playbook, I guess you'd call it, of ledge fishing. Like I look at it different. I don't know, because I've been with people and it's like, I don't know, I look at it different, and I think it's helped me out more.
Dive into that. How are you looking at it when you're ledges?
I'm not gonna get too far in depth with it, but I just kind of lay it out there. I look for, the key thing is I look for, everyone's. You always hear about these community holes, and it's hard, the way graphs are these days. Electronics, it's just hard to find anything to yourself. And I'll go to an event, for example, Pickwick. I've never been there before, and this was a few years ago when we went down there they had that collegiate national championship down there, and
I think it's the Boat US.
The Boat US. We won that. A couple of years, and going in that deal, like I said, I've never been there, and I think that helped me more than anything. I didn't have a waypoint on my grass, never got no help or nothing, and I feel like that helped me out more than anything. I go out and look for the most dumbest stuff I can find on my graph, on my map, if that makes any sense. just off the wall. And the thing is, it's not easy. I'll spend a whole day just to try to find one place, Instead, you could be looking at the most, looking at the obvious stuff, turns, ditches, and stuff like that. You can find a bunch of fish, but I'll go out and look for, and the thing is, when I say look for, sometimes I don't even know why they're there.
Gotcha.
Like, I find stuff, I'm just like, why are they even there? And it's over time, it's become, I've just kind of get an eye for it a little bit, and that's helped me out more than anything, just learn on my own, I think. But, going back to Kentucky Lake, you can catch them in a foot of water. I've caught them in a foot of water. I mean, cold water. I mean, them suckers will get deep, they'll get shallow. So it's kind of helped me to be versatile and be able to fish a little bit of both.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, guys, it's time to power pole down here for a short breath. We're going to be right back with more from MLF Pro Circuit Angler Cole Floyd.
Patented in 2000, perfected over years of testing and real-world punishment, the Power Pole is the ultimate shallow water boat positioning tool. Swift. Power Pole deploys in seconds from anywhere in your boat. Virtually silent. Power Pole won't spook wary fish. Secure in strong currents or gusting winds in up to 8 feet of water. Engineered to take it with a lifetime unconditional replacement guarantee on the spike. Power Pole. Swift. Silent. Secure. Visit PowerPole.com to find a dealer near you.
BassEdge Radio, presented in part by ProtectTheHarvest.com, returns with MLF Pro Circuit Angler Cole Floyd in the Lucas Oil Angler Spotlight. That's right, Lucas Oil high-performance marine products. Be sure to visit the BassEdge.com store for free shipping on all Lucas products. It works.
Cole, I don't want to belabor the Kentucky Lake bit that we had in the previous segment, but I got to ask. A lot of highs and lows going on with the fishery down there with the Asian carp infestation and all those styles. Right. I saw that at BFL there earlier this spring, took some decent weights. Do you have any, inside knowledge on how things are progressing down there with that situation?
Yeah, you're right. I got a bunch of buddies, from just being down there at Fish at BFL, and, I talked to a lot of them. My good buddy Marty Sisk, he won that deal, and, I talked to a lot of them, and they said, the numbers were good. It has the Asian carp have put a dagger to it. Everyone has their own opinions. I think grass is really, really key on that lake. I mean, it's kind of key on any lake, but that's something about that Tennessee River. When it has grass in it, it just makes it a whole lot better fishery. And, the last couple of years I was there, the water came up in the spring and they didn't drop it out on the fish. That happens a lot on Kentucky Lake. It's a flood control lake. It's the bottom of the Tennessee River. They can flood it. It doesn't really affect it as much, and it lays real flat. So, I mean, in the spring, we'll have the water will rise, and it'll be water temperature be about right. They'll pull up there and they'll start laying their eggs, and they'll drop the bottom out. Well, last couple of years, they've actually kept it up, and we've had some really, really good spawns. I mean, really good spawns. And I noticed there's a lot of numbers of just, that 12 to 14 inch size fish, and, that's everything. I mean, so I feel like, next year or two, I feel like we got some numbers coming back, and that's what we needed. I mean, we're kind of down on them. We had a lot of just older fish that were still hanging around, and that's why, you're seeing a lot of just really, really big bags, and not many of them 12, 13, 14-pound bags. So, I don't know. The future is looking good.
Well, I want to shift gears on you here a little bit, Cole. Often, Kurt and I hear of successful veterans, mention they just don't fish as much for fun. They like to kind of stay hungry by not overdoing it or get burnt out by recreational fishing. As a younger angler, do you, fish a lot outside of the competitive scene and the tournaments that you compete in?
Well, now that I'm in Ohio right now, no, I haven't fished a whole lot like I should be. So actually, my dad, they just got a place down at Cumberland, so I'm going to start going down there. I'm actually going to jump in that Toyota series coming up here at Dale Hollow. But anyways, yeah, I don't think you go wrong. As a young angler, I feel like you got to put as much time on the water as you can. Like I said, I mean, 4 or 5 years I spent, I'm not lying, I mean, dang near every day on the water if I could. And that helped me out more than anything. I've kind of slacked. I haven't really spent as much time, and on the water like I used to, just for some fact I'm here in Ohio. We still got ice and stuff to haul out and stuff. So, but I'm actually kind of itching to, like I said, going back, I'm a huge deer hunter. I've been shed hunting looking for antlers and stuff here lately, but I'm kind of itching to get back on the water after, you know, just being at Smith and having Okeechobee, a good tournament there. I'm kind of wanting to wet a line again.
I hear that. Cole, you know, everyone wants to win championships. I always like to talk to young anglers about goals and aspirations. And I feel like, you know, we hear about the championships, the AOYs, those kinds of things. Really want to dive in a little bit further with you. What do you see as goals overall in the industry? Do you have any aspirations or certain visions that maybe sponsorship wise or, you know, something that the general angler wouldn't really be just privy to? Because of course we want to win the next tournament at Murray coming up here in a couple weeks. And of course, you know, you want to win the AOY, you know, at the end of the year, you want to win the title, you want to qualify for the BBT, blah, blah, blah. But can you take it a little bit farther for maybe a vision that you've got for Cole Floyd going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a veteran at this at all, you know, in the sponsor game for sure. I mean, that's all kind of learning curve for me. So, you know, some of my goals, you know, going this year, and, you know, following years is just, I like to understand that a little bit more, the sponsor side of things, you know, it's coming to be that time. I need to kind of, you know, before I just went fishing, you know, when I was in college stuff, I never thought nothing about it, you know, and I still do, but, you know, just getting everything figured out on that end of the fishing, you know, that's another end. I need to figure out a little bit more, understand a little bit better. But, yeah, I mean, going, you know, this year, I told my brother and buddy that I want to win Angler of the Year bad. You know, that's a really hard task to accomplish and you know, and fishing, and that's something I've always wanted to do. You know, I've been lucky to win it 3 years in a row on, you know, LBL division on Kentucky Lake, and it was kind of sad to not fish, you know, moving back here and being away and fishing other tournaments. You know, I wasn't able to try to make it 4 years in a row, and I'm kind of wanting to win Angler of the Year in something.
There you go.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, to win an event, I'm just going to kind of let that play out. If it happens, it happens. I just got to put myself in the right places, you know, which I have the last couple of events. I just haven't finished them out completely. But
how about some bait designs? You got any flipping baits you're going to design for us?
I know. I'm kind of one of those guys that's just, I just like a creature bait. I like to keep it simple. Green pumpkin, you know, I'm pretty simple as it comes to baits, you know. But
it seems like guys that just fundamentals of the game, but concentrate on something specific, and when it's working, it's working, and when it's not, they lean on something else that they have some great experience in. And time on the water, as you mentioned, man, you spent years and years and years, 600 hours in 1 year, dude. That's some time right there, brother.
Right. Yeah. And that's just on my boat. It's hard to tell. I put some on Dad's boat, you know, I'll switch boats. And, I put a lot of hours. I mean, you can ask anyone. I mean, I definitely put my time on the water, and that's everything, you know, and it helps you get more confidence in different techniques. And, you know, I'll go out there, you know, one day I might throw a float worm all day, you know, in the springtime instead of flipping. Just try to get some confidence, and, you know, that's key. You know, I mean, you got to be able to switch it up. If you can't switch it up, you know, it makes it a lot more harder to tackle tournaments, you know. So
it's been fun diving into the brain. We're going to dive into your brain on a listener question. This part of the episode is presented by Nitro Performance Bass Boats. We got a question in from a guy, Braden Wiley. Interesting question here. Hopefully, Cole, you can help him out with your thought process. He says, on my bait caster, he's got 25-pound braided line to a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader. He's using a double uni knot. When he gets a lunker, it breaks off. He says, I've got my drag turned down enough to where it shouldn't, but it comes untied from the braid. Please help. You think it's his line size that he's using, he asks? Do you think if he's thinking about going down in his leader size because maybe 25 pounds too low for the braid? What kind of tips can you give him for fishing the braid to fluoro? Is that something that you use a lot, maybe in pressure fish? What's your thought process?
That is a good question. The only time I've tried that braid to floor on like bigger tackle, so bait caster, you know, flipping and doing that things in grass and stuff, and I've tried to make it work, and I've never I've never been able to make it work. And, you have 25 braid to 12 pork. I mean, it's so much. It's just when you're using it on a bait caster and there's not much, for some reason, if it was me, I would either just switch to straight. It depends what you're doing. If you're fishing grass, I'd change to straight, just braid. I put some heavy braid on there, 50 pound, no less than 50 pound. If you're throwing on a bait caster, if you're not fishing grass, I'd fish straight fluorocarbon. And and on my spinning rod, on my spinning setup, I run leaders all the time. That's all I ever do now, and
right.
And I feel like it works a lot better just for the simple fact you got that good smooth drag. When I have my bait caster set up, I usually have the drag cranked all the way down, hammer down.
Right.
That's just how I've always been. And I don't know, it just seems like, and like I said, I've tried to make that work, that braid to floor on a bait casting setup. I don't like to jerk real easy, and I always seem to break them off. And, sounds like he's having the same problem. I mean, I'm trying to answer his question as best I can, but I'm either straight braid or straight fluorocarbon, but if I'm using a spinner rod, I'll use braid to fluorocarbon.
Well, very interesting.
That's usually how I use it.
I think one of the big things about the spinning rod deal is that a lot, we're pull hook setting a lot into that, whether it's wacky rigging or even, shaky head fishing or drop shotting, doing a lot more pulling into the fish because we're using finesse style presentations. The hooks are thinner. You can just pull it in just like a needle would push into your skin. Whereas if you're using a bait caster, you're using a thicker wire hook. You need, like Cole said, put the steel to him, right? He's setting the hook hard. He doesn't want to have to lay off. And a lot of times when you have that kind of shorter leader, I don't want to say leader length, the shorter distance between the power from the hook set and where the fish is that you're setting the hook on, if it's close, it's going to take a lot of impact on that.
Right.
That line.
I did miss out on that part. You are exactly right on that. It's a lot at one time, I mean, so yeah, I mean, that's a tough question. That's a good question.
It is.
Though.
Yeah, it's actually a good question.
I would say Braden also.
That's probably more for like Seth Fighter.
Exactly.
Seth does that. He does that. He does that, and I don't know if it's the knot. I don't even know what knot I forget what the knot I even tie is. It works, but I forget what it's even called, to be honest with you. But I've tried to do it and just sweet. And I might mess with it some more sometime when when I like to use it. I think it works. I like it when there's some grass and the fish are pressured. I want to get by with some braid fluorocarbon, but it scares me off. I've had it a couple of them times. It's failed on me, and I feel like it's just so much, but yeah, I mean, that is a good question. That's a really interesting question.
Well, Cole, certainly we appreciate you helping Braden out. And it sounds like it was the perfect question because you share his pain and sometimes frustration. So,
yeah.
But Braden, there is one more thing that we need from you, and that is to log on to BassEdge.com. Click the Claim Your Prize tab. Fill out the information so that we can send out the BassEdge gift to you.
And as always, a reminder, go to BassEdge.com to submit your question to be heard on the show. Just simply click the Ask the Pros tab, and if your question is chosen, we'll be sending you a gift from Bass Edge Radio.
Well, Cole, thanks for being on the show. Before we close down the interview, any closing thoughts for the Bass Edge Nation?
Well, first thing, I'd like to thank you guys for having me on here. Had a good time talking to you guys, talking some fishing. Got me fired up and wanting to go. I'm sitting inside. It's like 45 out, blown about 30. So I'm kind of wanting to go fishing now. But, I appreciate you guys having me on here. Look for the rest of the year. Got things started off right, so I cannot complain. I'm hoping to be back on here again sometime, maybe for a tournament win or, Angler of the Year or something like that. But, you got to dream big, and hopefully everything falls in place.
You bet, Cole. Well, man, it was great catching up with you here on the show. Good luck on that AOI run. We'll see you soon over there at Lake Murray. Stay here, Bass Edge Nation. We're going to return after this quick message.
You know the importance of protecting your investments, so why use anything else other than the original and toughest DIY keel protector for your boat, Megaware KeelGuard. Grinding sand, abrasive rocks, and concrete ramps are no match for our exclusive contoured edge and patented technology. Megaware KeelGuard keel protectors are made tough and made to stick. Their do-it-yourself installation takes less than an hour, providing the longest-lasting, most dependable keel protection for your boat, guaranteed for life. developed specifically by boat builders, offering the best keel protection in the industry. Also from Megaware KeelGuard, Skeg Guard, Flex Step Pro, and Pontoon Guard. So give your boat the performance edge. Put on the protection the pros pick. Megaware KeelGuard.
The PowerPole Charge Marine Power Management Station is the most advanced system of its kind available on the market. It does the work of 3 devices, a traditional battery charger, a charge on the run, and an emergency start system, all in one compact unit. The Charge lets you run your boat's accessories the way you want to run them by allowing you to monitor and control your power usage through the PowerPole app. It automatically devotes power to the batteries that need it the most for maximum efficiency. The new Charge from PowerPole. Power where you need it, power how you need it, power when you need it.
Be at home with nature-inspired art, decor, and gifts by Wild Wings at wildwings.com. Explore art prints and canvas wraps of bass, trout, walleye, muskie, and more by acclaimed artists like Mark Cicino.
I primarily paint underwater scenes of game fish, and usually in a fishing situation, going after prey or going after a lure or a fly. I get asked sometimes whether I like fishing better or artwork. It would be tough to give either of them up. I can't really think of a good reason to give either up, so I'm going to stick with them.
Make your home, office, or cabin show off your passion for angling. Visit wildwings.com/BassEdge and sign up for an exclusive offer to BassEdge listeners of 10% off your next order. Give something special to your loved one and be at home with nature. Visit wildwings.com/BassEdge. That's wildwings.com/BassEdge to get 10% off your next order of nature-inspired art, decor, and gifts by Wild Wings.
Kurt, certainly want to just give another shout out to both Rick Emmitt, now the official head coach of Drury University, building the next powerhouse.
National
right?
champion head
National
coach.
champion head coach. yes.
National champion
Hall of
head
Famer.
coach.
Hall of Famer, right? And then also certainly having Cole on. And my understanding is, he comes by it naturally. He's got a pretty good mentor that he's had to put him in this place.
Aaron, so I had heard, that his dad, Steve Floyd, was pretty savvy, let's just say. And I didn't really do any research. So after we got off, because I kind of talked about it briefly in the interview with Cole and kind of pushed that button a little bit, we didn't dive too much into his dad's bass fishing past or whatever. But while we were away at break, I went ahead and Googled it up. Steve Floyd is Cole's dad, obviously from the same town there in Ohio, Leesburg, Ohio. He won a Toyota Series on Kentucky Lake in the flipping months, late April. Complete domination of the Ohio River in the mid to late 90s. Dude, every article you see, he's holding up some kind of beaver style flipping bait or something. So when Cole has this naivety of, man, I just kind of do my flipping thing. Dude, he was in diapers.
I was going to say,
and his dad
he didn't have a choice. I mean, he was going to be a good flipper.
Dude, what he doesn't know, I say he doesn't know, he knows his, but what he didn't know when he was growing up and he's gaining all of this knowledge and just secondhand ability because he's with his dad, who's a freaking hammer.
Right.
So, yeah, totally awesome, dude. And great interview with Cole. Cool to see how the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And, man, wish Cole the best of luck this year, man. I know that there's going to be some times when maybe he's got to put down the flip stick, but it's gotten to him where he's at so far. And obviously, man, I feel like, from his peers that I've talked to, he's one of those guys, man. Jordan Lee, Brian Thrift type. Man, I don't know. I just went fishing and I caught the crap out of him.
Right.
And Cole's going to be one of them anglers. So it was great to have him on the show, especially early in his career. So I think he mentioned to us, didn't he say, man, this is one of the first media deals that he's done. So
yeah, it was. And so always exciting. It'll be very interesting to turn back, and kind of listen to this. As so many times, Kurt, we've seen on here, many guests that we had early in their career, and then 2 or 3 years later, you go back and listen to how much that they have matured and also won. I mean, it's a performance-based business, right? But speaking of performance-based business, all of us have some things that we want to do, and I'm sure hopefully BassEdge Nation gets to get out there and enjoy the water. Before I let you go, certainly Kurt and I want to thank each and every one of you for hanging out with us here on BassEdge Radio. And in the meantime, be sure to check out BassEdge.com, tips, videos, articles, and certainly the BassEdge.com store, where you've got the Pure Clean Descaler, now the BassEdge swag merchandise hat, co-branded with Megaware KeelGuard. But certainly stay up on all things BassEdge through our social media. So for Kurt Dove, I am Aaron Martin, and we look forward to talking with you next time, episode 351. So long, everybody.
The Edge is presented by Megaware KeelGuard. For more information on BassEdge or to shop at the BassEdge online store, visit BassEdge.com. And be sure to join Kurt Dove and Aaron Martin right here on another episode of The Edge, brought to you in part by Nitro Boats, Lucas Oil, ProtectTheHarvest.com, Mercury Marine, Power Pole, and Rapaholic.